Coming up, trial begins for a Fargo man accused of trying to kill 3 people outside a downtown bar. A former battalion chief for the city of Moorhead enters a plea on a DUI-related charge. And this political mailer featuring middle fingers is causing a stir in the race for Fargo City Commission. Hello and welcome to the Nightly Review. I'm Tom Tucker. We begin with a look at tonight's headlines, then a closer look, with details tonight on how a political mailer is stirring things up in the race for 2 open seats on the Fargo City Commission. And in tonight's one-on-one conversation, how a candidate for state senate in Minnesota is accusing the state Republican Party of taking illegal and unconstitutional actions. But first tonight, a Fargo man accused of trying to kill 3 people after a downtown bar fight plans to argue he acted in self-defense. Jury selection began today for the trial of 44-year-old Brandon Roosevelt Grant. He faces 3 felony counts each of attempted murder and aggravated assault. The charges stem from a shooting in February 2021 outside the Bismarck Tavern in downtown Fargo. A former battalion chief with the Moorhead Fire Department is pleading guilty in Cass County District Court to a Class B misdemeanor. The charge against Kayla Cross was DUI test refusal, stemming from a crash last November in West Fargo that injured 1 person. Cross's employment with the city of Moorhead ended February 10th. She is currently serving as fire chief in Mapleton, North Dakota. A woman was hurt in a rollover crash on I-94 in Moorhead just before 10:30 last night. The State Patrol says a 28-year-old woman from Dallas swerved to avoid an object on the highway and lost control of the car, causing it to roll. She was taken to an area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. 2 passengers were not hurt. A recalled dehumidifier is blamed for starting a fire that damaged a home in North Fargo Sunday afternoon. The fire at 1137 8th Street North was reported just before 4 p.m. 3 people got out safely. Fire damage was limited to the dehumidifier and a water filtering system, but black smoke filled the home. Damage is estimated at about $10,000. Well, Marathon Week in Fargo is officially over. Organizers of the Fargo Marathon are boasting another successful race after thousands of runners and spectators showed up for the event. Chilly weather impacted the course leading up to this weekend's races, but overall, no major injuries or rather issues are reported. More than 1,300 runners participated in this year's event. Well, Fargo officials are asking for citizen input on the type of artwork to be displayed outside City Hall. The city's Arts and Culture Commission wants to post art depicting Fargo, past, present, and future. Submitting artists must be at least 18 years old and must live or work in Fargo or be pursuing studies locally. The art will be installed by the end of July. Are we in store for any relief at the gas pumps in the coming weeks? AAA's Gene Leducer says it's not likely.
Looks like gasoline prices will likely continue to trend higher, and North Dakota will likely break its all-time record within the next week or so.
What is the all-time record for North Dakota, Gene?
$4.23 a gallon. Currently, we're at $4.17, so we're 6 cents away from that record.
Wow. Gene Leducer tells WDAY's Bonnie and Friends the restrictions on oil refineries in the country, paired with the ongoing embargo on Russian oil, is leading to prices soaring around the country. Motor Coach Industries, based in Winnipeg, has announced they will close their manufacturing plant in Pembina, North Dakota, by the end of the year. The mayor of Pembina, Mike Fitzgerald, says he got word of the closure in a letter from the manufacturer's parent company. That's Minnesota-based New Flyer Industries. The closure of Pembina's largest employer reportedly will affect more than 200 workers. A representative for the group called the North Dakota Period Project is focusing on ridding the state of what they call menstrual inequality. Olivia Data says the term includes many things, including the stigma surrounding menstrual cycles and lack of sales tax exemptions on feminine hygiene products. Data says they want to stop the taboo surrounding women's bodies and menstruation. In a closer look tonight, Fargo City Commissioner Dave Piepkorn is reacting to a recent political mailer he describes as a hit piece. Mailed to Fargo residents, the flyer draws attention to the moment last year when, during a city commission meeting, Piepkorn allegedly held up a middle finger to fellow Commissioner Tony Garrick. Piepkorn says the flyer attacking him is the latest twist in a hotly contested election.
It's very interesting, and obviously we don't know who did it, but eventually we'll be able to find out who did. I don't want to say who did it, but you can pretty much connect the dots, so we'll see. But obviously it was good for me from the perspective of I couldn't afford to send out mailings like that.
The election mailer was paid for by the Bismarck-based Brighter Future Alliance. The group's chairman, Pat Finken, says the nonprofit does not coordinate with any political party, campaign, or candidate. The Brighter Future Alliance was formed 10 years ago and has been involved in statewide politics. Piepkorn calls the mailer dirty politics.
And it's kind of interesting to me. So usually you have another candidate that you're trying to promote to say, don't vote for this one, but literally they don't say to vote for anyone else. It's kind of unusual. It's just a hit piece.
Commissioner Piepkorn says the mailer is an indication that someone is worried that he will be reelected to another 4-year term on the 5-member city commission. A total of 15 candidates are running for 2 open seats. Well, if you enjoy getting your local news and information updates by watching the Nightly Review, please be sure to take a moment to hit subscribe and the bell button below to make sure you're always up to date. A very pleasant day for us weather-wise, but the question is, will the nice conditions continue? Meteorologist Justin Storm has the forecast from the Skywatch Weather Center.
Thanks, Tom. Skies will remain mostly cloudy through this evening and tonight, with a slight chance for a couple isolated showers or thunder showers through the early overnight period. Otherwise, we stay cloudy as temperatures slide into the mid-40s tonight, with a southwest wind lightening up around 5 to 10 miles per hour. It will be breezy on Tuesday with south wind around 10 to 20, partly cloudy to partly sunny through the afternoon with highs in the mid-60s. Again, a slight chance for an isolated shower or two, and then we'll see the clouds sticking around on Wednesday. Highs in the mid-60s with light wind out of the east-southeast. Again, a slight chance for an isolated shower or two, but most likely wider spread scattered showers to our south and east into Minnesota.
It could happen to you or someone you love. One moment, one diagnosis can change everything. Thankfully, there's a program that helps caring people uplift families through a crisis. Lend a Hand Up, raising financial help and hope through community benefits and online campaigns. A program that boosts generosity so gifts go further. Lend a Hand Up helps you help your neighbors. Learn more and give at lendahandup.org.
Welcome back to the Nightly Review. My guest for tonight's one-on-one conversation is Edwin Hahn, one of 2 men who claim the title of Republican Party Chairman of Clay County. Hahn is also continuing his campaign as a Republican candidate for State Senate District 4, even though Republicans in the district have officially endorsed fellow Republican Dan Bomer for the seat. Hahn tells me he was kicked out of the party's recent endorsing convention in Rochester, and I asked him why.
Well, Tom, there's an element, as we continue to talk about at the state party, that has had an axe to grind with me, because what we're doing is we're growing the movement within Clay County, and it's an example for the rest of the state to follow. And what we're doing is we're bringing that power of the political party back into the people's hands, and that dilutes the power at the executive level, right? We're also uncovering a lot of corruption, uncovering a lot of unethical behavior that the party is doing, and then flat out unconstitutional actions that the state executives are also engaged in. And so, of course, they don't like this. They perceive this as a threat to their fiefdom, to their kingdom. And so they're doing everything they can to squash me, and even using basically lies and manipulation to get minions to do their bidding.
Going back to mid-March, you say it was an orchestrated coup d'etat when the county executive board took action to remove you as county party chair. Talk about what happened there and how it has led to where we are today.
Yes, Tom. And so going back to this idea that the state executives have been squashing every attempt for the people to take back their party, they had blessed an initiative by one of our rogue directors, Calvin Benson, who is also a Michelle Fischbach staffer, congressional staffer, to attempt a removal. The removal was, of course, grossly unconstitutional. It violated all of our processes. as well as the state party processes. But because it was colluded with at the very highest level of the Minnesota GOP, the chair, Edwin Hahn, as well as Mike Lungering, the executive director, amongst others, there's been this cementing of this narrative that I have been removed. And they've been continuing to bolster this with a lie that I'm somehow violent, that I submitted threats of violence, of some kind of physical harm to people. Obviously, if this was the case, I would have been charged with some kind of terrorism. I would probably be in a court battle right now. I would be, definitely facing some kind of indictment or restraining order. And there's nothing to back this up. And so obviously, they're completely not credible. And so there's no charges against me. Their argument does not hold water. All they have is public perception, as they've used the leftist media. They only will talk with the leftist media. At my understanding, they're not taking interviews from you. And so what they're doing is painting a picture and a narrative as I'm some kind of an evil, violent person, which is simply false.
So what are your thoughts regarding District 4 Republicans endorsing Dan Bomer for the state Senate seat?
Yes, of course. We just continue to see a pattern of the party being interfering and engaged in the people's business. So we had party operatives that illegitimately, unconstitutionally controlled that endorsement. They didn't even follow the rules. They didn't even follow their constitutional processes to call that convention. And they actively blocked duly elected delegates from even participating and voting in that convention, which of course is highly unconstitutional. So picking winners and losers from the very highest level of the party and diluting the people's voice, actually silencing the delegate's voice, is what occurred during that endorsement. So as we continue on, we are definitely primarying and running against whoever their party pick is, their establishment pick is.
And I'd like to thank Minnesota State Senate District 4 candidate Edwin Hahn for joining me for tonight's one-on-one conversation. The primary election in Minnesota is set for Tuesday, August 9th. Well, that will do it for this Monday night, May 23rd, 2022. I'm Tom Tucker. Thanks for watching the Nightly Review.